This is Ollie here from Visordown.com, and I am the voice accompanying the rugged visuals you see here before you in our latest video. Today we are getting all hit parade with another countdown all the way to number 1, with this the top 10 of the biggest, most hardcore and of course the best adventure motorcycles you can buy right now. Rest assured though, as shifting as those sands may be, these are 10 motorcycles that could cross them with barely a murmur of stress. And that essentially forms the basis of this rundown. We are after the motorcycles that will go the furthest, scale the highest peaks, and skate through the most rapid of rivers without completely sacrificing on-road comfort and enjoyment, and preferably at a price that won't leave you wincing once you've finished accessorizing it. Housekeeping times, please like and subscribe to this page for more video goodness every single day. And leave a comment, preferably nice, but if you're a troll, be warned, we give as good as we get. So, are you ready for an adventure? Off we go. Kicking us off at number 10 is the bigger and older of Triumph's big cats, the Tiger 1200. The elder statesman to the younger, more limber Tiger 900, coming later in this countdown, the 1200 certainly has some greying whiskers around its frame, and is now the only model in the British firm's range not to have been facelifted in the last couple of years. However, you don't buy a big adventure bike entirely on looks alone, and while the now 9-year-old 1200 stands out a little, it remains a handsome beast and there is nothing wrong with the solid mechanicals underneath it. Updates along the way have served to make the Tiger lighter and smarter, while, as in many older models needing to attract some business, it's now loaded with kit. Old school in the sense you definitely trade some on-road refinement for dependable off-road capability, the Tiger would nonetheless still go further than most. Think of it as a Range Rover from a couple of generations back. Unstoppable in the rough, aging, but still classy in its own distinctive way. Though probably the softest motorcycle on here, we couldn't help but include the Suzuki V-Strom 1050 XT. After all, even Suzuki itself will probably balk at the idea of someone using the V-Strom to tackle a mountain range, with the model it pitches as a tourer, but it's here because Suzuki have been delivering honest, durable and dependable motorcycles for decades now, and they remain really popular with you guys. So while the V-Strom might be more at home on the tarmac, it won't turn its chunky katana-inspired nose up at just a little bit of mud. Updated in 2019, the V-Strom 1050 XT isn't the most outgoing of lookers. There's some retro Dakar-style liveries do certainly help, but it does have some clever touches, including various controls including traction, hill hold, cruise and load dependent, plus motion track brake system. The 1037cc engine is certainly more refined than the previous Model 2, while Suzuki keeps itself in the game with some keen pricing on finance deals. If your average journey is around 75% road to 25% rough stuff, it's certainly worth a look. It wasn't all that long ago that the idea of taking a Ducati off-road would make some of the more sports-orientated loyalists recoil in horror, though more would hide their eyes when the first generation Multistrada was launched, this array of bumps and bulges making it look very ugly. 2 decades on, and the Multistrada has certainly matured with age, and in its latest guise has erred away from being a sporty GT towards something more adventurous, powered along by the firm's clever and meaty V4 power plant. If Ducati was speaking, it would say the Multistrada V4 is the master of all touring, sporting and adventure trades. But they aren't. I am. And it isn't quite the ambitious all-in-one it wants to be. As a practical and refined tourer with a sporting edge, the Multistrada V4 has most rivals licked. However, at £15,500, it's just not trick enough to justify spending that much if you spend more time kicking up the mud rather than licking up the miles. The motorcycle they all want to beat in the sales charts, the BMW R1250GS Adventure has become something of a default choice for those in the market for an adventure bike. The GS Adventure certainly has pedigree, and like the Multistrada V4 before, offers a tempting blend of on-road and off-road ability, albeit an adventure trim skewed towards being more of a master in the rougher stuff with its punchy shift cam engine and well-judged bodywork. However, best-selling doesn't always mean best in class, and it's somewhat concerning to see BMW slipping down customer satisfaction surveys amid talks of patchy reliability and quality control concerns. two areas you don't want to be shortchanged on in this sector. Plus, it's not that cheap from the outset, but if you're happy buying used, you won't find a more prolific bike on the forecourt. It may be weird saying Harley-Davidson has launched an adventure motorcycle, but you know what? It's weirder to think it took until 2021 for Harley-Davidson to actually launch an adventure motorcycle. But here we are. This is a watershed moment for the American brand, even if in our eyes a model in this class is a no-brainer. So is it a case of beginner's luck with the Pan America? Well, yes and no. Harley haven't chased after the likes of BMW and Honda into the wilderness entirely, but this will certainly go further and higher than any other Harley before it. The looks are divisive, but why buy a Harley if you want to blend in? But given its size and presence, this behemoth will certainly get you noticed. What it lacks in pedigree and some finesse, it makes up for in eagerness. Plus, it's refined on the road, and if nothing else, it is packed to the rafters with clever technology and innovation. A really good first effort, one we're sure that will evolve into a more focused off-roader in time as Harley grows more accustomed to getting its tyres a little wet. The granddaddy of the adventure class, the Honda Africa Twin, or Honda CRF 1100L Africa Twin to give it its full mouthful of a title, is a solid, well-executed dual-purpose motorcycle blending the engineering and quality one can expect from Honda. Updated in 2020, the AT got a power hike to 100 brake horsepower, the more utilitarian base model gets longer suspension, and the clever slender design makes this feel like an oversized enduro rather than a hefty adventure machine. Definitely the thinking man's adventure bike, the Africa Twin may be all Sahara Desert and Dakar dunes in its ethos, but it's certainly just as capable cruising its way up the M1 too. If off-roading is your game, then there is no better weapon in the slippery stuff than a KTM. The Austrian firm has diversified and tenderized its range over the years, but off-road is where it cut its gearing teeth. Pick an adventure in orange and you're guaranteed to get a motorcycle that is built of tough stuff. And this is right through the range, whether it's the 390 or this, the recently launched 890 Adventure R. Inspired by the firm's ridiculously successful rally raid entries, the knowledge of every single Dakar rally win has gone into this latest generation. So much so that for the first time KTM is offering a rally version, which is just that bit tougher around the edges and a bit more hardcore to make you feel like you're a proper Sam Sunderland. The standard 890 Adventure R is plenty for most though, and it shames bigger bikes with its deft off-road ability and keen dynamics on the road too. And yet, despite all of its abilities, the KTM 890 Adventure R is not quite our favourite mid-capacity adventure bike, but more on that later. Lighter, punchier, cleverer and friskier, the Triumph Tiger sharpened its claws with the launch of the 900, which in rally trim offers possibly the best all-round package for those who spend as much time kicking up the dust as they do cruising on the smooth. A big step forward over the 800, the Tiger 900's party piece is its triple-cylinder engine that provides exactly the right amount of bite in the rough while staying composed and flexible on the road. With Triumph erring more towards the premium crowd increasingly, the Tiger Rally is also brimming with tech to keep you busy. If you're in the market for a mid to large all-rounder, head to your local Triumph dealership. The flagship in the KTM range, the 1290 Super Adventure R, has cemented its status as the ultimate long-range off-roader, proving the best of both worlds that will stride with gusto from the western reaches of Portugal right to the Romanian coastline, while taking in a few shortcuts on tough terrain along the way. Combining KTM's native off-road knowledge with everything they have learned since with models like the RC8 and 1290 Super Duke, the 1290 Adventure R handles more keenly than even most smaller motorcycles. Updated for 2021, the latest model gets a redesigned chassis, lighter internals and a new gearbox, making it the holy combination of a Dakar rally raider, a Duke and your comfiest armchair. If you pile on the miles in the week but love to get a bit Bear Grylls on the weekend, the KTM 1290 Super Adventure R is your trusty Swiss Army knife. Last year, we crowned the Yamaha Tenere 700 our favourite all-out adventure motorcycle. And despite KTM making a close run thing this year, we just can't say no to the Iwata firm's Go Anywhere all-terrain star. Proving you don't need to go big to go hard, the Tenere 700 strips things right back, with some terrific off-road ability, proving light enough to throw around with abandon, but meaty enough to not feel like it's lagging on the road. Truth be told, each of our top 3 here fulfilled their particular briefs excellently. But we give the Yamaha the nod overall because it's a modern motorcycle with honest intentions, one that punches above its weight and is just so damn likeable. It's not terribly sophisticated, but those parts are designed to handle everything thrown at it, and at $9,000, it's a proper penny pincher that opens up a world of paths less travelled. They came for the little king, but they didn't dethrone the Yamaha Tenere 700, our favourite adventure motorcycle you can buy right now. Go on then, go get one.